Ron, if I could just have you tell me a little bit about how you got started in investigating the paranormal.
It really was by happen chance. It's nothing that I really, wanted to do any time during my life. I have a degree in environmental science, and I really, I thought it was interesting, ghost stories, as everyone does, but I really never thought of investigating it. But I used to own a manufacturing company, and it was a woodworking manufacturing company. And one day I cut my fingers off, and I ended up in the hospital. And while I was in there, I had a pulmonary embolism, and kind of had a near-death experience at that time. So I got out of the hospital, and of course my fingers were in a cast because they reattached them and everything. And I had all this time in my hands, so I decided to take a course on TV production because, I'm a pretty imaginative guy. I'm pretty creative, so I said, that'd be fun. So I did it, and when I was done, I had to do a TV show. So I decided to do one on ghosts because it's a very popular subject. Plus, my manufacturing plant had always been haunted. Nothing I ever saw or anything, but everybody that worked for me had seen things or talked to people who weren't there or everything. So I decided to do one on ghosts. So I went out, and the first time I did it, I was kind of hooked, and I wanted to know more and more. So that's kind of how it started, basically.
How many years ago was that?
Oh, that would probably be about at least 10 years.
So basically you've been doing it a lot longer than the popularity lately because of the Ghost Hunter show that's on TV.
Oh, what's funny? I always have to laugh at this, but when I finished my TV show, and we put it out on cable access, and it did really well. And then we were approached by WNDS-TV, and we had actually, it was a commercial show. It was out actually way before the Ghost Hunters.
Really? So you were actually the original Ghost Hunters?
It's all about in life why, certain doors open, certain close. I mean, they just happen to be at the right place at the right time. So, and it's good. They've done a lot of, good to the industry as far as calling it to attention and so forth. So that's kind of cool.
Give me some of the experiences that you've had that have sort of changed your mind to believe that there are ghosts.
You know what? I always try to be skeptic, and like when I first started, I was really, really skeptic. But the more you do it, the more strange stuff you see that happens, the more convinced there is something here. What it is, I mean, there are a lot of groups like psychics and stuff will tell you, not groups, but people, they'll say it's like this or like that on the other side, but they don't really know. I mean, it's all conjecture. You really don't know until you go over there. So to me, it's an experience and a learning process. When I first started, I wanted to say, I'm going to find proof of the paranormal. Well, I mean, there are so many skeptics out there or cynics that no matter what you give them as far as evidence, they're not going to believe it. So now I changed that philosophy again. I believe now that this is what I'm doing, and I'm sharing my experiences with you, and you make up your own mind what's out there. So anyways, you asked me what some of the weird stuff that convinced me. I was slimed one time, which is pretty interesting. I was shooting with Brian the monk, who's a Franciscan monk. We were shooting in Old Hill Cemetery in Newburyport, and there's open graves because the cemetery is in deplorable condition. You can actually, it's a road and everything. You can see the skulls and stuff. So I was shooting in one of the graves with my camera. Then all of a sudden, from my wrist to my elbow was covered with a black, thick, oozy goop that had like a chemically burn. And there was nothing above me, nothing on the ground, just appeared out of nowhere. And, it kind of freaked me a little bit.
Oh, absolutely.
Not so much that, I was scared or anything, but it just, it did have a burn, so I just wanted to get it off me. And, to this day, that's probably the biggest mistake I ever did because I never took a sample of it. It wasn't as dramatic as that, okay? I mean, I can't talk too much about it, but one of the coolest things, it was an old Victorian house in South Boston.
Exactly,
Yeah, my partner there always reminds me of that. Why didn't you take it? But anyways, we did several other investigations, one with WNDS News where we went to Tortilla Flats in Merrimack, New Hampshire, and we interviewed one of the waitresses, and she had some paranormal activity was going on. She felt something on her neck. It was this black, thick, oozy scooped it, burned, and so, and I know like 5 or 6 other cases. So what that is, I really don't know, but I know it has something to do with paranormal and hauntings. So that's kind of an interesting, something physical that you could sink your teeth into. I mean, but I've gone on exorcisms with the Catholic Church before. I mean, those are pretty intense as well.
That has got to be scary. Now, when I hear that, of course, my mind goes directly to the movie The Exorcist.
Mm-hmm.
Is it that scary? I'm guessing that they took a lot of, leeway in doing that film, but...
They did, but the thing is,